First of all, welcome to the stream. I'm so happy that you're here and I'm very excited for this one. Great. So today is Thursday, 6 p.m. I will do streams and that kind of stuff every Thursday now. I'm trying to keep that rhythm. I hope that works well. For now, I see that it's, first of all, a lot of fun and I really enjoy it, to be honest. I really like it. And today is the second edition of my new live stream format called Trust the Process. Why is it called Trust the Process? Well, as you know, hopefully, maybe you don't, but I teach creative coding, and creative coding is about processes in many ways. I like that term very much. I'm focusing much more on the creative aspects of the process while practicing creative coding than on teaching specific technologies. So for me, the technologies are more in the background and I try to focus on the creative aspects. And what I do in these live streams is I take a creative brief and I solve it in the live stream, and actually I have no idea where it ends up. And by the way, I just recognized that I'm logged in on my website. That means I'm getting a greeting here. Hi Tim, welcome back. That's nice, right? I just programmed this yesterday. So my patrons and my students get greeted by my website. I'm in the process of moving to another country right now, and that's why my room is completely empty now. It's pretty reverby, I guess. So it would be really cool to get some feedback on that. If you can hear me well, that would be great. Oh my God. This is something terrible what's happening, because out there, my neighbors decided to make a party and they just didn't tell me. So it starts at 6 p.m. Oh my God, they're playing trumpets. Okay, I think they are done. That's funny. Okay, nice. Today, this is a live stream by me. I'm Tim. And as said, I'm focusing on the creative aspects of creative coding, on the process. My live stream format is Trust the Process. So welcome. It's great to have you here. Today I was getting, or a few days ago, I was getting a message on Discord because I asked my community to tell me what kind of visual I should recreate. And Matthäus proposed this one. I posted this on Instagram quite some time ago. And I gotta say, I really like this one as well. And I thought it would be nice to build this with the p5.js editor. Normally I use processing for all of my projects. Well, most of my projects. This time I would like to try to build this with p5.js because I fear that is one of the boundaries, of the technical boundaries of p5.js, I guess, because as soon as you start to work with typography, with more complex shapes, it sometimes lags in performance. Let's see if that works. p5.js has some amazing benefits over processing. Since it is browser-based, it is very performant because the WebGL renderer is completely running on a GPU and a graphics card, which means that you can create very complex and very performant 3D environments, which is actually very difficult in processing. They're playing the trumpets again. Can you hear that? Okay, they are done. This is like the traditional greeting we have a specific folk event here, and this is the specific greeting for this event. Anyway, so p5.js is not super performant when it comes to complex geometry, I think. I'm not really sure about that. So I would like to rebuild this visual with p5.js. I will use the p5.js web editor for that, and probably you have used it yourself before. If not, go to editor.p5js.org. And by the way, I just created a so-called Etherpad, which is a document where I can share some things with you. And if you want, you can just come to this digital place, and get the resources I'm using here. Etherpads are amazing. Actually, these are like documents like Google Pages that you can use to, post or write your text collaboratively, and you even could write something inside here. So if you have ideas what could be beneficial for us, just put them into this Etherpad. This is an experiment. I never did it like that, but feel free to edit the document, okay? Great, 7 people in the Etherpad already. This is amazing. Welcome. Welcome to this digital document. Okay, cool. So we will build this visual here. We will try to build this visual here with the web editor. I have the idea to also incorporate a library that is actually not a p5.js library, but a library for animation JavaScript, which is amazing. So when I create animations in processing, and I mostly do this when I have client projects, then I use the ANI library by Benedikt Groß, which is pretty amazing. You should check it out. It's ANI Benedikt Groß. You can install it through the contribution manager. Here it is. So this is an amazing processing library to create animations. Yet I didn't create any tutorials on it because I was scared that processing 4, the big update on Java, of Java would probably break the compatibility, but it didn't. So maybe I will do a tutorial on this. Let me know if that's interesting for you. We will use a JavaScript framework called Anime.js. It's super nice, actually, super cool. It's very performant. It looks great. It's very well supported by, it has like 37,000 GitHub stars. It's actually really nice. And yeah, also we need a font for this ASCII visual. We will use IBM Plex, because this font has many block characters. And block characters are these little, like, you know, pixel characters that they can use, which are really nice for ASCII typography and ASCII visuals. So this is the font I always use when I create ASCII renderers. The story behind IBM Plex is that IBM was using Helvetica for decades, and then they just realized they paid like loads of millions of dollars of licensing fees. So they created a project called IBM Plex, and they created a completely new font family for them, and it is actually open source and available for everyone. So it's really cool. And I really like it. People are singing outside, nice. Okay, the problem with IBM Plex is that it leads you, when you click on download, it leads you to a weird GitHub page, which looks like this. So it's a little bit strange to find a download link. I think what you have to do is to go to releases 6.3.0, then you come to this weird page here. Come on, IBM, I think you can do it better. Like, this is a catastrophe. Okay, and here you have the file, so I will click on open type, and then it finally downloads the zip file, which is crazy, right? It was very complicated. So, open type, here we go. This is IBM Plex Mono, a really cool font family, and I use it for all of the ASCII visuals. I'm distracted because of these guys outside. I'm still playing the trumpet, so weird. You know, I am not building a super complex studio here. I'm trying to make it all as portable as possible, and these things are part of my streams and will also in the future be part of my streams. I will be traveling quite a lot, and I like the style of having it very authentic, and yeah, sometimes these things happen and are part of the stream. I like that. Cool. Let's go to the P5 web editor. Maybe I just log into with my GitHub account. I think then it's going to be dark. Yes. Okay, cool. Here we go. So let's take a look at the visual. What do we have here? First of all, we have many typographic symbols from IBM Plex that are distributed on the y-axis, like on the vertical axis, and then distributed on the x-axis. So that means, in theory, we have to build a line of many characters, create a for loop that creates more than just one character for each row. Like it goes like line by line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And then we have to control the spread of these characters by multiplying with the iterator in the for loop, which is a little bit tricky to understand right now, but we will do this step by step, and I think you will understand what I'm meaning here. So let's do this. So create canvas 400 times 400. I have to say I'm quite a noob in the P5 editor. I mostly use processing for all of my sketches, but p5.js is an amazing tool to work with in the editor. I really like that I can put the window here as well into my tabs, which is great. So let's go. Let's see how that sketch looks like. Right now we just have a blank window. Let's make this white, and then I will create a few things here. First of all, I need a variable that controls how many elements should be distributed on the y-axis, on the vertical axis. So I will create a variable var, which is called elements. Wow, what does it do? It just, wow, elements. It just reruns the code. Crazy, like I've got auto refresh activated. That means it just reruns the code every time I write something, which is crazy. I don't need that anyway. Okay, so I want to have 10 elements here, and I want these elements to be distributed on the y-axis from the top, and they should also be positioned in the middle of the sketch window, right? So that means I will create a matrix with push and pop. So if you don't know how push and pop works, actually it's creating a new matrix, like a new coordinate system that is independent of everything that is out of these two functions. So push and pop, creating kind of a frame, and everything you write into, all the transformation you apply into that frame will be applied to an independent coordinate system. So I can write translate, say, okay, put this to, whoops, width divided by 2 and 0. Let's think. No, let's put this to height divided by 2 and create a circle that is in the middle of the sketch window, which has a position of 0, 0 and a size of, let's say, 50. 50 times 50, 30 times, well, come on, times 50 pixels. Run the code and see what happens. Amazing. Can you see that? We've got a circle on the screen. That's cool, right? Okay. Let's give it a little fill color to make the whole thing a little bit more pretty. Let's say fill. I want to have it in black, so I will use 0 as color as a code for black. And I will also say that I don't want to have a stroke anymore, so no stroke. Oops, no. What is it doing? Like, look at this. I'm putting an O there. Weird. This is a code completion. So as I'm writing, the P5 editor is intelligent and suggests me some completion. Why is it saying fun? I don't understand that. Okay, again, let's try it again. No, it's a function, of course. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Nice, I didn't know that this feature exists. That is pretty amazing. I love that. That's cool. No stroke, parentheses, so we have a function here. And yeah, let's see. Now we should have a black circle. Circle needs one argument less. That's what the console says here. So I will delete the fourth argument. I was assuming I'm using the ellipse function, but I'm not. So here we go, there's a circle. Now, look, from there we have to expand or kind of, let's say, distribute the circles on the y-axis with a for loop. So we need a for loop to do that. And I will create this for loop now. I will say for, and then let I equals to 0. I is smaller than, let's say, 10, and I plus plus. So this is a for loop that executes the code inside of the brackets 10 times, and I'm going to clean up the code a bit, make it more pretty, edit tidy code. This is a great feature and we can use it by hitting Command-Shift-F. Here we go. I'm creating 10 circles, but these circles are now like stacked on top of each other. So what I have to do now is I have to distribute them between 0 and height. Actually, I have to, because the coordinate system is now in the middle, I have to say I want to distribute these circles from the middle to half of the height of the sketch window, negative, and half of the height of the sketch window, positive. So that means one circle will just expand on the y-axis to the top and the bottom. How to do that? Okay, I have to create a new variable that I will call position x, position y, and I will say, I will use the iterator I, and I will use that iterator to generate this value. And how is that called? Like the first value is, the initial range is 0, between 0 and 10, because 10 is the amount of elements we have, right? And I want to map it between 0 and height. Okay, that's cool, all right. So 0 and height, I have now the value here, and I can put it now to the y-axis. See if that works. It works. Nice. The only thing is I have to translate the whole thing one step or half the diameter of the circle to the bottom, because now it's not really, it's not really inside of the bounding box of the sketch window here. So I have to say, but I don't know the radius. Okay, that's tricky. That's tricky. Let's see. Okay, how to do that? Actually, it doesn't really matter, because we also could say something like, if it's more than 11, here it will create 11 circles. Ah yeah, look, if I just change this number to 11, it will create one more circle. And actually that's also fine. I mean, this is a little bit ugly hack, but since we are already planning to replace circles with characters from the font, this will be not a problem at all, right? By the way, we can just change the variable name here for the iterator to y, because this is controlling the y-axis. And I will create another for loop, which I will call, where I will call the iterator x. Okay, cleaning up the code, running the sketch, and here we go. So now we have all of these circles are stacks of circles, and actually of 11 circles. What I have to do now is I have to create a transformation for all these elements on the x-axis. So I will create a variable called position x equals to map parentheses x, comma, 0, comma, 11, because we have 11 elements here, and I will have to map it between 0 and 11 to another value range, which is, let's say, -100, 100. Let's see how that works. I have no idea if that Oops, hitting Command R because I'm used to work with processing. Okay, I will put that in here and see if that works. Nope, it doesn't work. Why? Because I'm not in the middle of the sketch window anymore. So I have to say width divided by 2 plus position X. Run the sketch and here we go. That's pretty cool, right? Now we have the ellipses distributed on the X-axis in the right way. So they are now stacked on top of each other, but that's not a big deal. So let's just comment this line here so I can show you what I mean. So I would just put comments in front of these lines of code here and you will see that, you know, the ellipses are stacked on top of each other. Nice. That's great. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's comment it in again and we can now create a few variables here for the amount of elements to control the visual. So let's say we have a const which I call elements X equals to 10 and const elements Y equals to 10 as well. So we later on can easily just change these variables and make the visual, yeah, look differently. So also let's apply some different sizings here, a different size to the canvas. 700 times 700 should work well. Yes, that's cool. And now when I change these variables here, as you can see, it will just apply that to the visual. Oh no, not yet because I'm not using them yet, but look at this. I will put these variable names into for loop here and that should work like a breeze. Does it? See? Let's set this to run the code. Oh, it doesn't work anyway. Why is that happening? Oh, yeah, of course. Because I'm still using fixed numbers here. So I've put them here to the map function as well. And now when I run the code, that should work. Amazing. It does. Also here I can again say +1. And then I fix the problem that, you know, the last row is not filled. Great. Nice. Let's look into the chat and see what's going on there. All right. I'm not from Vienna, Benedikt, but yeah, great. I could speak German if you would be the only person here, but I think I have to stick to English. Yeah, and it's great to hear that you started learning processing because of my tutorials. It's amazing. You have to know, for me, it's really great to see that people start with coding and create something out of that. That's just amazing. And I'm so happy to be part of the learning process of some of the patrons I have. So yeah, thank you so much for that. If you want to learn processing and p5.js and creative coding, I want to point out that I have this website with loads of courses. So I'm teaching processing, p5.js creative coding since many years and recording videos about that. Here in these courses you find dozens and hundreds of lessons actually. Each one has a specific topic. One is on typography, the other one is on images and pixels and on grid systems and that kind of stuff. So you have to become a patron to get access to that, but then you can just make an account for my website and you're good to go. Your learning process can begin. I also do lots of interviews with people from the community. We have a Discord channel and yeah, just check that out. Go to my Patreon channel here. You just click on the link and you will find more infos about that. Amazing. Okay, cool. Back to the p5.js editor. Okay, cool. Now look, we want to have like kind of like a wave motion on the x-axis of these elements, right? There should be something like a pulse, like a wave going through these elements. How can we do that? Actually, that's not too difficult. We have to do something with the pause_x variable here. So what we can do is we can say something like pause_x should be, instead of mapping it in a specific range, like mapping all the elements in the same range, we can use the sine function, which is creating a sine wave, and we have to put the radians function in there because that way the sine function receives degree values, which is very important. Working with pi and radians values is very difficult. So we have to put the frame count function in here and then we can multiply, let's see, then we can multiply that by the width we want to have here. So let's say 100. Right, so now it's like pulsing between -100 and 100. So -100 to the left and 100 to the right, which is already great. So what if we just put x into it? So the x value that we have in our for loop available. Run the code. Okay, so it becomes like a, let's multiply this by 10. It gets this kind of material vibe, like this rubber vibe anyway, which is cool. And then we have to say something like plus y times 10, I guess. Wow, this is something completely different than I expected actually, but it's also interesting. I like that. It's really nice. What happens when we just delete x times 10? Ah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, all right. So I guess we have to create a, wait, let me think. So the elements are all in the middle and I'm putting a wave through that thing and the wave says, okay, between the top and the bottom, this is controlling how wide the wave gets, right? Yeah, I think I have to do it differently. Sometimes that's how it works, right? I just create a visual and I forgot how I exactly did that and I'm trying to rebuild it and in the end something completely new comes out of it, which is always pretty nice. So yeah, let's see. So first of all, I don't want to make it move on the y-axis, on the x-axis that way. A bit confused right now. So position y is fixed, of course. So that's already right. That means here, when I just eradicate the, okay, then I get this curve. Okay, let's say times 20 to make it a little bit more intense. Okay, I'm just changing some values here to see what happens. Yes, exactly. So now I remember that I have to do something with the map function here to map them between, yeah, exactly, to map them between the left and the right edge of this magnitude of the wave. I think that was the way to do it. Let's call this variable magnitude x and say, yeah, of course. And this has to be created before I create this wave, right? Magnitude x is equal to map sine radians position y equals times, let's say 1 or 10, something like that. And we'll map it between, so the initial value of every wave in processing p5.js is -1 and 1. And we'll map it to minus 200 and 200. And now I can use magx to control. I think that was the trick. Makes sense? Is magx actually position x? I'm not really sure. Let's see. No. How did that work? Yeah, I don't get it. I gotta say, I don't get it that. I right now don't get it. Again, okay, I've got a line of these elements. These elements are stacks of ellipses. So I have to say something like position, the magnitude is changing. Position x, I think I need the magnitude to control the position. So I say map, yes, x, comma 0, comma elements x, comma minus mag and mag. Hope that works. Oh my goodness. Map was expecting number for the 5th parameter. Yeah, but it is 1, 2. But mag is a, oh, I don't have created a magnitude variable yet. No, here, of course I did, but it's called magx. And I have to put that in here, so let's see. It's not working. Why? I never had such a hang in a live stream yet, so this is really feels terrible, to be honest. I am sweating and I feel like, oh my goodness, this is a catastrophe. Normally it really worked very well, but right now I feel like, oh my goodness, I'm going to screw this up. This feels terrible. I have no idea if I can make it. And the thing is, like, this is like a feedback loop of emotions. So you feel like that much pressure. I feel like I'm live, and the more I think about that, the worse I probably get in coding. But let's go in. I think that's part of the game, and I will try to fix this. But I feel like, wow, this is really inconvenient. I feel terrible right now. Of course, there's something. Yay! Exactly, Fanon. Thank you so much. That is the problem, I think. I have to put position x into that translate function. Amazing. Oh my goodness. Width divided by 2 plus position x. Wow. Finally. Amazing. I did it. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Fernand. That's super nice of you. Thanks. I've got it. So the problem was that I was not translating it on the x-axis. I was having the wrong variable in here. Like, it was just width divided by 2, and I didn't actually use the variable I created here. So it stayed the same result. But now, since I've just corrected it, it puts the whole thing to the right spot. Amazing. Wow. Great. Okay, I think I'm back on board. Let's see. Now, I have to make this move, okay? Also, I can like change the intensity of the wave on the x-axis, on the y-axis. Actually on the y-axis. So pos y times 20. Let's see how that looks like. Exactly, that's cool. Okay, and then I can say something like plus frame count. This will make it move. Yay, awesome. Okay, I will also create more elements on the y-axis, and then I will also, let's say, decrease this number here to make it a little bit more fluid. Wow, this is amazing. Like, this is a really cool thing to play with because there are many different visual things in it. It's really awesome to explore the system already. Let's say I will create a little variation of it. 2023, July 6. and this is, let's say, 01. And I will share this now with you. File, share. Here we go. Share. Nice. Here we go. There's this share link, and I will put it to the pad I just shared in the live stream a few moments ago. And again, I will also put this as well to the chat here. Wow, I feel much better now. To be honest, I had a little crisis a moment ago. I felt like this is terrible. Okay, now we have this up and running, and this is amazing. Really cool. Really cool. Okay, so what's next? Let's try to incorporate the font into this sketch here, okay? I will create a variation of it. I will call it 02, so this is the next step. And now we will load the amazing, incredible IBM Plex into this sketch. Let's double click it and open the font folder here, IBM Plex Mono. I will go for, let's say, I will go for the bold version here, and I will upload it to the sketch. I think that's possible by saying, I want to upload an asset. Where is that? Where's that button? I'm looking for this button. Come on, upload file, there we go. This is it. So I don't use the p5.js editor often, so this is very, something very unusual to do for me. So I'm not a big pro in that, but yeah, here we go. There's the file, IBM Plex. I will copy the name of this file here, and now I can use the function, the preload function of p5.js to load this file into our system here. So let's say I will create a new let for the font, which is a font object, and I will say font equals to load font and set the name of that font file into the string, which is the first argument. So we have the font available now here. Amazing. Now we can do some settings for the typography now. Let's say text font parentheses. I don't like that auto completion thing. I think I'm gonna switch it off. It makes me crazy. Autocomplete hinter off. Auto close brackets and quotes off. I would just want to work without it. Okay, cool. Text font is font text align should be center, comma center. Not sure if that works the same way as in processing, but this is how I do it in processing. Align, text align, center, center. Text size is 30 times 30 or something like that. I don't know. No, sorry, just 30 because we don't have X and Y, we just have one axis. not an axis, this is actually the font size here. And I hope it doesn't crash. No, it does not crash. That means it takes that code and understands it. So, and now instead of a circle, I can put a letter in it. So let's say, what kind of letter should I take? I don't know, let's take like a percent sign. Okay, position should be 00. Let's see if that works. Wow! Oh my, it's pretty amazing already, huh? That's really cool. And it works much better than I expected, to be honest. I was thinking that it could really be, from its performance, very slow, but it does a great job right now. So maybe let's see if we can push it to the limit and say we want to have 100 elements on the y-axis and see it's still quite fluid actually. Wow, that's really nice. I didn't expect that. I was thinking that p5.js is going not to work that well with that many vector graphics or typographic elements. Really nice. Maybe let's add 100 more. That should not work because, multiplying this by 10 should not work for p5, I think. Yeah, now it's going to drop. Right now the frame rate is dropping and you see it's going very, very slow. So yeah, this is not working. But I mean, these are 10,000 elements now, so it's fine. It's doing a better job than I thought. I was thinking that p5.js is really, really crappy. One problem that I think is really annoying about working in a web browser is the following. So as soon as your sketch starts to drop in the frame rate, and this just happens all the time when you develop something, you also drop the frame rate of the whole editor here, right? So as you can see, it's like rubber. It's very difficult to, mark things here, or it's much slower. So I'm writing some text, and it just appears there very late. So the latency is very high. That's what I like about processing. Let's not talk about user interfaces, but processing for me is pretty much a tool for rendering things. Like I use it to render motion graphics. And since the sketch window is an isolated application, it doesn't have any effect on the code editor. And if you build a sketch that can be controlled with a MIDI controller or with an external user interface, it also doesn't have any influence. But here, it's pretty much dropping in the frame rate. But it's fine. I'm I'm totally convinced, and I was not expecting that this is going to be so nice and so well. Good job. So let's multiply this by 0.4 to create a responsive width of this visual, and also I reduce the elements on the x-axis to 10, on the y-axis I will reduce them to 50, and again we have a very fluid, nicely moving graphic here. Amazing. Cool, awesome. So now the question is, how do we get the all these ASCII symbols in here? So the cool thing about the Plex font is that it contains many, many nice block characters. We can explore these block characters by going, you see, by opening the font. If you're on Mac, in Font Book, then it just opens a preview here, and because I already installed it on the system, I will look for Plex, IBM Plex Mono, and I want to see the, oh, they changed it. Oh, wow, they changed it. But that's fine, because here we have the repertoire, which is showing all the characters in the font, which is amazing. And you even can copy paste these characters, which we will do in a moment. So this is great, because now we can pick our favorite characters that we want to use. And I always use these block characters here, right? So these are great because they are look pretty much like old schoolish, kind of old schoolish demo scene terminal graphics. And I like that. So let's put them into a string, like a variable that we create. And we will call this char set. So this is the character set, the character set of the whole thing here. So char set is equal to parentheses, and we'll put it in here. And let's go back to the font thingy here. So we take this one as well. This one as well, put it there. Take this one as well, put it there. And also I want to have a black box, okay, put it there. And you know, the interesting patterns happen mostly when you create some very complex character sets. But okay, let's just do this step by step. So I have a string, which I call char set, and we have to decide here what characters should be used based on that char set. How can we do that? And here we go. So we have the char set defined here in the string. Amazing. So that means here we have the position x, or actually we have x as a variable here. Wait. I have to see something here. Let's tinker a bit around with the values to get again these blobs. And as you can see, this is pretty strange. Why are these blobs so irregular? I mean, I like it. I think it's pretty amazing. It looks funny, but it's also pretty weird. As you can see, there are more at the right sometimes, and then wow, they're irregular in a way. I have no idea why, really. Oh, by the way, we can do something to make it a little bit more easy to see it, because I think when the resolution is too high, it gets lots of artifacts. That why I'm going to change it to 30 elements. And also, yeah, this is amazing, right? This looks so cool. I love that. That's really nice. The problem is, you know, in p5.js you cannot easily render MP4 files. So maybe you know, I post a lot of stuff on Patreon, lots of on Instagram, lots of my experiments, but here I'm pretty restricted because exporting these elements to a really nice video is not yet possible, because a browser is not allowed by law to export MP4 files. There's something like this restriction in the rights of MP4. I don't know. Guillermo, I get it. Irregular because not even lines, but odd. Yeah, okay. Total number should be odd, so one in the middle. Yes. So Guillermo writes in the chat, yep, each line is made but an X number of symbols. Elements X plus 1. Okay, let's see. Here. Boom! Yes! Here we go. There it is. Amazing. You are great. Let's see. I can share this with you guys in the chat now. I will just do something like on file, share. So we'll share this thing here with you in the chat. Boom. There we go. So here is the most recent version of this thing. Here we go. And now I will create a new variation called _3, and then we have a second version of it. Cool. Now let's look at the char set again. As said, we want to have multiple characters in our visual here. So I will say something like this. How to get a specific character from a string? I will ask Google, how to get specific char from string in JavaScript. To get a character from a string in Java, we recommend using square brackets. Ooh, that's sweet. That is super easy actually. So all we have to do is using the string as an array. That's pretty awesome. I love that. but we still have to find out which character to use. So we will create a variable, which is an integer var, let selector, because this is the thing that says even it's 0, so the first element in the array, 1, the second element in the array, we are 0 based in programming, remember that. 2, which is the third element in the array, or 3, which is the fourth element array. So this selector must contain a number between 0 and 4. And just for the fun, let's say something like selector is int random, random 4, So this will return a value between 0 and 3 and say text, come on, we want you to be char set, and then putting these square brackets around here and selector. Let's see if that works. Boom! Now we have like a random character for each element, right? That's cool. Actually, it's terrible, but you know, it's cool that it works. It makes me sick, so I gotta stop the sketch. It makes me crazy. Wow. Okay, nice. All right, so we now have a selector variable. So here we have to write the logic into that it selects the appropriate element. Look, what if, this is nice. Look, what if the elements on the x-axis will be controlled by the length of the char set? That way we can like make more elements by adding more characters, right? And less elements by deleting some characters from it, which is pretty awesome, I think. So instead of defining the elements on the x-axis, I would say use the length of char set of that array or the string. That means we will now say something like this. Let selector is equal to I want it to be an integer, because only with integers we can select things from arrays, right? An integer is like a floored value. It has no decimal points. It's not a floating point value. It's just a whole number. So the int function converts a float into an int. So we are using the int function here, to, and then use the map function, and we map x. First of all, we have to say that the amount of elements on the x-axis should be controlled by the length of the char set. Char set dot length. Length is a function, or I don't know exactly how to get that. Let's see if that works. Okay, int map. Before I do this, I will uncomment this or comment this out and just see if it still works. Okay, it doesn't work. Why? Elements x is not defined. Yeah, exactly. So that means I have to use that here, this value, instead of elements x. Run the code again. All right, selector is not defined. It's true. And let's set it to 0. Run the code. Okay, nice. Yeah, nice. Nice. Can you still follow me? I'm totally in my tunnel, and I don't know if you are still, can you follow my thoughts? I hope this works well for you. I'm really happy for any feedback, by the way, about the live stream. So if you have the feeling like, hey, you could do this and this better, I'm very much beginner in this, so let me know. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Okay, again, back to the code. Let selector is equal to 0. I just can say x, that's much easier. So that way, yeah, look at this. Come on. Is this amazing? Is this amazing, or is this not amazing? I think this is brilliant. I love this so much. This is great. Okay, because now we can get very crazy with it. Look, wow, this is so cool. These are the elements of, this is creative coding. This is creative coding. We are working with the code, and we are sometimes even surprised by the results. In the end, we create a wide range of sketches in our sketchbook, which is a digital folder full of ideas. And later on, we can create projects out of this. This is how I understand creative coding. It's a process that has no goal in the beginning, just maybe something very open, right? And we can build thousands of new things out of it. I love it. I love it. It's amazing. Cool. All right. Let's save this. I gotta save this. Look, the thing is, this system is pretty flexible. We can do loads of things with it now, right? So look, what happens when I just take these characters here and just copy them again into the string, and then I run the code, right? Something completely different is happening here, which I don't like this one that much, but it's also pretty nice. Maybe because the things are overlapping that heavily. So maybe if we just reduce the amount of elements on the y-axis, it could be more clear. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think that this was really beneficial. Let's put it back to 40. But we can now, by the way, adjust the size of the fonts to, let's see, where is it? Like the text size, we can adjust it and control it with the amounts of elements on the y-axis by saying height divided by elements x. That means it takes the height of the sketch window and divides it by the amount of elements, y, not x, on the y-axis. And that way we get the appropriate value for each row, like the height of each row. And this should at least look, yeah, nice. Look at this. This is pretty awesome. How do I export videos from this? Let's think about that. Because I want to capture these other things here. Save parentheses, and in here I will say, give it a file name, live stream. I think these hashtags will be replaced with the number of the frame, and then that's how it works in processing. I will save it as a PNG. Let's see if that works. I don't know. It's saving loads of PNGs to my downloads folder. Stop it. Okay. It doesn't replace the hashtags in p5.js, which is interesting. I thought it does, but it doesn't. That's fine. Let's create a folder and see if they are actually in the right order. So anim 1. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Yeah, of course. That's amazing. So in theory, you can go to processing and use the so-called movie maker. Where's the movie maker? Okay, processing, new file. You have to create have an open window, but then you get this tools thing like Movie Maker. This is actually like a stop motion software that is built into processing, which helps you to just generate motion graphics from stacks of many images. Let's do that. Okay, frame rate 30 is cool. Let's say create movie. Okay, animation 1 is rendering right now, I think. It's still rendering. Here we go. Whew, what's going on there? Screen recording is the easiest. Yes, that's true. But what if you have a sketch that is not that quick? Screen recording has two drawbacks. The first one is if you have a quite slow sketch, which drops in the frame rate sometimes because it's very complex, you have a very irregular frame rate, which is very weird. So I always prefer to export images and then put them together with another tool. In processing, I have an automated script that does this automatically for me. The second thing is with a screen recording, you have not that much control over the dimensions. So if you want to have like a square video, I think this is really weird. Sometimes things are not centered, so it doesn't really feel doesn't feel good to me. So for now, I would prefer that thing here. I think create loop, whatever this is, create animation loops with noise and GIF exports in one line of code. Wow, that's cool. Wow. Okay, let's copy that HTML tag here, put it to our p5.js sketch into the index.html file. Yeah, put it there. And actually this should work. Yeah, I have to say duration 3, GIF true. Okay, nice. Let's put it into the setup function of the sketch. And let's see if that works. Okay, still saving so many images here for every frame, but anyway, let's just do it again. What is that? Creating 3-second loop at 60 FPS, creating GIF with 180 frames. Cool. This is what's printed into the console. Wow, Leah, this is pretty amazing, actually. But where is the download? Where's the download? It should create it and place it in the canvas under your sketch. Wow. Okay, that's pretty smart. Okay, now it's creating the GIF, rendering GIF, and then looks like it takes some time to do that. Finished rendering GIF. There we go. Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing. Here we go. That's pretty amazing. 20 megabytes, 1400. Well, it seems to scale it up. It takes quite some time, but I think this is the easiest and the most elegant solution to render GIFs from p5.js or animations. Because in the end, you can take these files and convert them to MP4 files. Great. Okay, let's change the characters. Let's get back to the creative mode and change the characters of the char set here. Let's make a few experiments with that. First of all, what happens when I just write my name into it? Let's see. Also, I want to deactivate create loop because I don't want to render a GIF all the time, which is pretty intense. Wow, look, nice. Okay, I think this is super ugly. It doesn't really work with readable text. It should be more something like a more pixel element kind of thing. So let's go back to that thing here, to that font book, and copy some of these elements. And well, this is too much work. Let's go to my website. There's a pretty cool course called ASCII Adventures. And in ASCII Adventures, I have char sets prepared for my patrons and my community and my students, fonts and char sets. There I have loads of characters sets actually created for my work. Yeah, this is prepared for processing. So what I do then is just copying that stuff here manually and putting it into that string. Run the code and see what happens. Yes, there we go. This is what we wanted to have, right? This is kind of the thing that we had in mind when we started this tutorial. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Maybe we can do some more renderings, and then I will go back to the website and maybe take these block characters, put them in there. It's rendering the GIF. Let's save that one to my desktop here, and maybe we can tweak the values a bit. Well, because I was thinking about using Visual Studio Code, showing you how to put that code into VS Code, working with it from there, and also using the anime library. I don't know if we can make it today. But yeah, let's tweak the values. Let's get crazy with these values here. So first of all, what I see is we are using the sign function, and everywhere you use the sign function, you can always also take the tan function, which creates a completely different style. So tan is a tangent wave. Sine is like a sine wave that goes like very, very fluidly, which is a very regular wave, but tan is going crazy. Like it goes with an exponential speed out of the numerical range into infinity and comes back from the other side. So let's see how that looks like. Run the code. Wow, look at that. That's crazy, right? That's pretty crazy. So it looks like we can change the intensity of the wave on the y-axis by changing, of course. So this is the place where, like, let's say now we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blobs, around 5 blobs. So what if we just want to have 3? Well, we can set the amount of blobs and control them by changing this value, because pos y is now multiplied by 1, but what if we multiply it by 0.5 to get the half? Wow, this is cool, huh? This is nice. Also, it would be interesting to see what happens if we change the magnitude on the y-axis from, okay, here's still something weird in it. So I still have 200 as a fixed value in this. Doesn't make any sense. So let's set this to width multiplied by 0.1. Wow, look at this. This is pretty amazing. Let's use a different char set. For example, this one. I'm getting a little bit in love with the p5.js web editor. I was pretty skeptical about it because just of the performance issues it had. But I have to say, it's going much better than I thought. Really. Even though my computer is now getting very hot, it's starting to, you know, go crazy right now. But yeah, wow. Look, this is pretty amazing. So the fixed thing here in the middle, as you can see in the visual, there's like something that is not moving anyway. It's interesting because that is probably this character here. What happens if we just replace it with nothing? Yeah, can you see that? So now we don't have that line anymore. Web is the future. Yeah, web is amazing. I'm totally in love with web technologies. What if we render a little preview for the blog post? Let's do that because it has a specific size, which is 4:3. 800 times 600 would be appropriate, I think. Let's see. So here we go. Yeah, this is cool. And also let's change the amount of elements a little bit, make it a little bit more less complex. Maybe also change the width of this whole thing to 0.3 to make it a little bit more broad. That's cool. And now, of course, we also can work with a font size. That's something we can tweak. For example, we could say something like, okay, we are multiplying something here. Sorry, we are, dividing height through elements y, but that we can multiply by 0.4 to make them smaller, for example, or 2 to make them much larger, right? So this is more brutal, but I like it. Let's try a different font. Character set again. What about this one here? Actually, it's pretty crazy what I'm doing here because it's always trying to render a GIF. This doesn't work that well, I think. Let's go back to the character sets and maybe we just take these here, these block characters, or these ones. No, okay. Creating some really strange irregularities, but maybe these are actually too many elements. So I'm going to delete some of them, see what kind of difference this makes. Yeah, this looks much more controlled in a way, much more graphic designy. I love that. That's pretty amazing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Wow, yeah, this is already looking very, very good. It's rendering a GIF. Nice, I love that. That's just perfect. This is the perfect result for this, actually for this tutorial. Maybe we shouldn't go into anime.js anymore. I'm tired, you're probably also tired. I don't know. Like we have more than 1.5 hours of stream, but you know, I'm so happy because the cool thing about these streams is I always learn something new from you. That's just amazing for me because last time when I did the stream about this data visualization, which was really, really nice, that was fascinating. We created this timeline with data from Google Sheets. It was amazing because I didn't actually know that we can use a data endpoint created in Google Sheets, but Stig Moller-Hansen, who is a member of the community and a very important advisor for me, told me that it's actually possible to use real table data and import it into processing, which is amazing. Like you can use it as an API, which is fantastic. So, and we use the data to create this kind of timeline. So here we go. It is three-dimensional. You can use the mouse to navigate through the three-dimensional space. It's kind of a very cheap WASD navigation. So that means we can move forward with X and move backward with S here. And yeah, it's actually pretty nice. So just check it out. It's on my website. You can copy it and play with it in processing if you want. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, I think it's a little bit different. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit a different result, but it's still very close. And you know, if we would tweak it, it's not about recreating something that already is existing. It's more about getting into the flow, into this realm of possibilities. And there we are. Okay, let's wrap this up. It's done. We are there. We made it. It's an amazing result. I'm so happy with that. Wow. Great. It was fantastic. For me, it was great. In the beginning, I was completely struggling. I felt like like an idiot. I was sweating, and these guys outside making this trumpet music made me, made me more crazy. But yeah, that was a really, really cool stream. I really enjoyed it. And maybe next time we can build up on this or we create something new. I'm always happy to get your recommendations. You can write me a message on Discord. Joining the Discord is free, so just go to my website and go to the community link in the navigation, and there you will find a link to the Discord channel. And yeah, there's a channel called events, and there you can put the something you would like to share with me that I could recreate. Alrighty, I'm hyped and I love this format. It was great fun, and I wish you a fantastic evening and enjoy. See you very soon, hopefully, and come back in 2 weeks. Again, 6 p.m. CET, I will be here and do some crazy stuff with creative coding. All right, see you. Bye-bye.